All right, well, welcome in, everybody. Thanks so much for putting in where you're from. I've seen coast to coast and even beyond the coast a little bit. I've seen from Puerto Rico all the way over to California. I got everyone coming in from everywhere. I saw Phoenix, Arizona. That's where I'm from, where I'm coming to you at chatting today. So welcome. Thanks for putting in the schools and everything. I did see some Florida folks come in. Definitely want to acknowledge with all the storms and everything going on. I know we're thinking about our staff in that area as well as students and just everybody impacted. So thank you for joining us today, and hopefully everybody will be recovering soon from that. Welcome in, everyone. All right. Well, we have an exciting program for you today. You're going to get to hear about a lot of things that we have going on at the American Heart Association, and especially opportunities for you all to be able to get involved and hopefully start your career with us. My name is Kathy Young. I'm the Director of University Relations at the American Heart Association, and happy to be your tour guide today as we navigate this program and what we're going to do. You're going to get to hear about two different opportunities today. One is our internship program, and the other is our core program, which is our public health program that we have with AmeriCorps. So we're excited for you to hear about both of those programs. You're going to hear directly from interns and HeartCorps members, as well as from recruiters that will give you tips and tricks to navigate our process and be able to put your best foot forward. In the Q&A is where you're going to want to answer or ask questions. So you can keep the chat lively. I love to see people engaging in the chat. But if you have a question for us, please make sure you put that in the Q&A. Jade, is there anything else? I kind of just jumped in. Was there anything else that we needed to cover?
Nope, you're good.
All right, excellent. Well, then we will keep going. All right, so who is the American Heart Association? Well, at the American Heart Association, we believe that everyone deserves the opportunity for a longer, healthier life. And for 100 years, it's been our mission to fulfill that vision. Working alongside a global family of volunteers, donors, and advocates, we are transforming the way the world understands, treats, and prevents cardiovascular diseases and strokes. With bold hearts, we now forge into our second century, fueling science and innovation, funding life-saving research, and boldly standing on the rights of patients and caregivers to empower healthier communities and transcend the way we live, work, and play. One bold example is that we have set a goal of doubling the survivor rate of cardiac arrest by 2030. To reach this goal, we are building a nation of lifesavers. This turns bystanders into lifesavers so that at the time of a cardiac emergency, anyone, anywhere is prepared and empowered to become a vital link in the chain of survival and provide CPR. We're making healthcare smarter and more accessible because we are committed to advancing health and hope for everyone, everywhere, because our future is about improving yours. And I know that many people would love to make a difference in the work when they go to work every day. And we do. At the American Heart Association, our interns and HeartCorps service members, they save lives all the time. It doesn't matter what your role is, whether it's in accounting or fundraising or in public health, you're saving lives at the American Heart Association. We hear it all the time from survivors. Without the American Heart Association, they wouldn't be here. And so it takes all of us to make this bold vision a reality. If that sounds exciting to you, then we hope you'll consider joining us. Some of what I want you to learn about today is our guiding values. These are important principles that we really rely on here that help guide our work. One of my favorites on here is meeting people where they are. I think that this is a core, well, obviously it's a guiding value, so it's also a core value, but it's my favorite because I feel like the Heart Association, whether it's by starting the HeartCorps program to help impact rural communities and make sure that we're there when they need us, the way they need us to be, or whether it's showing up for the LGBTQ community in ways that they need to hear our message that may be different than the African American community, right? So everything comes a little bit differently, and we try to do our best to meet people where they are so that the message can be heard in the right way. So let's learn a little bit about the internship program. So the Interns of Impact is what we call this program, and it really can be across any department. So we run programs in the spring, summer, and fall. And at any time, any one of these departments can request to have an intern, and then we'll post those jobs. And so you could have something for marketing communication, finance. We call it business technology, but that's basically our IT department. Could be in fundraising, corporate events. We have a lot of folks that put on meetings and events for us, whether those are global events or locally, right there where you live. There's a way that you can be involved in event management. And then talking about advocacy or community health, data science positions, all the way up to even providing that professional education in doctors and stuff that we're talking about to help level them up in their care. So these are all different departments that we have opportunities in that you all could take advantage of. As I mentioned, we offer the internships in the spring, summer, and fall, and you can see the dates of what's coming up for 2025. Our spring internships are posted right now. We do still have some additions that we'll be adding to the list, but if you go to heart.jobs/interns, you can see those. They're also on the WayUp page. So you can go to our WayUp account and you can see everything there and all the internships that are available right now for the spring. If you don't see something you like, give it another week or two. There will be some new ones added. Then you'll see we have our summer internships. Those jobs will be posted around early February. And then in the fall, we will have an opportunity for internships from September to December, and those will post early June. So you can bookmark our page and you can keep coming back and seeing when the internship time is right for you and join us for one of those opportunities. A little bit more about our internship program. We offer part-time roles. All of our internships are part-time, and we pay $23 an hour. We offer both hybrid and fully remote internship positions. So it's important when you look at the job, we try to put in the job description if it is a remote position, or if you see Little Rock, Arkansas, that means you need to be located in Little Rock, Arkansas, because that is a hands-on hybrid job where sometimes you're going to be at home, but you're going to be out in the community or in the office needing to do that. We also offer a lot of professional development topics, and we'll let the interns will be able to share some of their favorite opportunities with you. But there's a lot of different things, everything that we talk about from building your personal brand to working on your executive presence. So we'll talk a bit about that more, and I'll let the interns share their stories on that. We offer a lot of networking opportunities, so you get the ability to network across the nation, as well as we connect you to alumni that might be here from your university. But you can also pursue networking in the different departments and interests that you have. And then one of the special things about our internship program is we have something called HeartU, which is a state-of-the-art online training center, and it offers over 100,000 different learning opportunities. So if you want to get better at Excel, you can do that. You can go into HeartU and they have trainings in there. We've had people get you can get all of your project management courses done so that you're ready to go in and do that certification. That's all included in the internship, and you can pursue any kind of professional development opportunities and learnings that you want through that. So it's a very unique place to go and learn. All right, without further ado, let's get to our panel. I'd love it if the panel could come on screen here. I'm going to stop sharing so we can focus on them. We're gonna have a good time getting to know a little bit more about the program. So welcome, folks. I'm going to let you all introduce yourselves as we answer this first question. And we're going to let Evelyn, who was named one of WayUp and Yellow's top 100 interns this year. So she made the top 100 list for her work at the American Heart Association. I'm very proud of her. So, Evelyn, if you could kick us off, introduce yourself, a little bit about your role, and then also, can you share some of the projects that you've been working on during your internship?
Definitely. Hi, Kathy. I'm blushing now, so thank you. Um, but my internship experience has been great. My name is Evelyn Raphael. I'm currently the Healthcare by Food research intern. So that's one of the initiatives here at the American Heart. This is my third internship with the American Heart. So I've been a community health intern. I was a project management intern out of National Center, and now I'm a research intern. It's been great. I've done things like event planning. I've also conducted a lot of research, created presentations. Yeah, and right now my biggest thing is I've been invited to New York to attend a convening of the minds in order to create something new policy-wise for healthcare by food. And so it's been really exciting and really incredible.
Awesome, thanks. Marion, can you go next and share a little bit again about your role and the projects that you've been working on?
Sure, that sounds great. Hi, everyone. My name is Marion Noble. I graduated from UC Berkeley with my BA in sociology, and I'm currently the prospect research intern for the mission advancement team here at the American Heart Association. And prospect research is essentially an aspect of fundraising that utilizes research-driven insights to create fundraising strategies and engage prospects with the capacity to get major gifts of $100,000 or more. And for me, this looks like completing research requests from the field team or mission advancement leadership and assisting with special projects. I am currently spearheading research for the Giving Pledge list, a philanthropic initiative that involves 200 plus high net worth signatories. And basically for me, I'm researching 200 plus individuals and creating profiles based on their philanthropic interests, previous giving history, and potential alignment to AHA, and basically just creating a strategy for outreach utilizing research. This is my second term with the AHA with the same department, so it's been great.
Awesome. Thanks, Marion. And Hunter, over to you. Same question. Tell us a little bit about who you are, the role you have, and some of the projects you've been working on.
Yeah, so my name's Hunter Minshew. I'm the MAB finance intern. This is my second internship with American Heart. My first was in the headquarters in Dallas in person, and then now I'm working remotely from Texas Tech. I'm a senior, majoring in finance, and will graduate in May. A bit of the stuff I do. So I work with the Mission Aligned Business Team. American Heart Association is a nonprofit, but the Mission Aligned Business is the for-profit sector of it. So we sell products like e-learning kits and CPR certifications, as well as actual CPR equipment to typically major institutions like hospitals and schools, but still individuals are a big portion of our sales. Most of my work is done through Excel, as you could probably guess. A lot of it is revenue tracking and journal entries made based on the transactions. I do a lot of reconciliations, which is basically matching the revenue that we have listed to the money we actually receive. And in a perfect world, it would equal zero every time and match up, but there's a lot of research to be done. We have to go dig through past payment files and other sheets to find where this money is coming. Maybe a payment wasn't made. We also work with international subsidiaries. We have one in UAE and Dubai. So those are two of our big subsidiaries, and we work with them to track their revenue as well. We have to do a lot of changing their currency to our currency. We have some revenue splits with them. So yeah, it's a lot of work and it's a lot of fun, and I enjoy it.
Excellent. Well, I love, obviously I invited you also, but the reason that you all were chosen is not only do you have some good history with at the Heart Association, can really speak about the internship program because you've been here for multiple sessions, but you all do such different things, right? We've got the finance department, we've got fundraising, and we've got public health. So you guys really show, a diversity of what can be done as an intern at the American Heart Association, and how, through every level, right, it really does make a very large impact. We've got some recruiters that are going to really dig into the hiring process a little bit later, but I would love, just from your all's perspective, can you share what the hiring process felt like to you, and just maybe what do you think made you stand out as a candidate? Marion, maybe we'll start with you.
Sure. I was actually rereading my cover letter for the internship, and basically, I really emphasized how my educational background and my research experience related to what the mission advancement team wanted in a prospect researcher. And more so, I emphasized how my background connected to the organization, like how I was able to drive the organization's mission through my background. And I feel like those two components made me a well-rounded candidate, and I really conveyed that through the interview process. But in terms of the actual interview process, it was very straightforward. Remember, Kathy, I had difficulties and had to have a phone interview, which you were so gracious in conducting for me. You gave me tips for how to approach the second interview. And after that phone call, I met with my current manager and her team to discuss my educational background, my research background, and how we work together as prospect researchers. And then from that, it was onboarding through HR, who is amazing, such a breeze, so accommodating. And overall, just really just emphasizing what you bring to the table and how you can help further the mission, even if not in your specific department, but as a whole. So that's what I would recommend for me personally.
Wonderful. Hunter, what about for you? What was the hiring process like? And how do you think you were able to stand out as a candidate?
Yeah, like Marion said, it was super smooth and straightforward. Started with the screening, and then moved on to interview with your potential managers where they explain the role to you more. And I think the best way to stand out is make sure you understand the role, read the job description. I think showing confidence and trying to be well spoken throughout the interview is very important. Showing some personality, don't be afraid to crack a joke, obviously appropriately, but I feel like overall, just the whole process was very smooth, and you were a great help in that, Kathy and Heather.
Awesome, thanks. And Evelyn, unique experience for you because while Marion and Hunter have stayed in the same internship for multiple sessions, you've done a different internship every time. You had to interview each time to get those different roles with different hiring managers. So, what was maybe the initial hiring process, or talk about whatever you'd like, but what was the hiring process like, right? And then how did you stand out and separate yourself out, as a strong candidate for each of those?
Sure. The first one, like both Marion and Hunter have said, was very straightforward. I think I also had technical difficulties at one point and had to turn my Teams video meeting into a phone call halfway through because I'm in New Mexico and our internet goes out all the time. But yeah, everyone on the team has always been so accommodating, so gracious, and it's a very comfortable environment to go into. It's not, you're so scared and nervous, obviously, coming in, but immediately the recruiter I talked to first put me at ease and let me know that, we want to get to know you. And that's kind of how I think I stood out, is I really let them know my personal passions, what drives me, and how that reflects into the role and how I would use that to be the best candidate for the role.
Awesome.
And then kind of doing that each time, because yeah, it's been a lot of interviews every time, and every time using experiences I've gained from the last internship as well as networking during that internship. So I always have an idea of who is who and who am I getting to know and how can I relate to them.
Excellent. All right, we talk a lot about professional development as a strength of this internship program, and I would love for you all to maybe share a little bit about kind of the professional development opportunities that have been offered, but the ones that really stood out to you or really made an impact. Hunter, maybe we can start with you this time.
Yeah, so like Kathy mentioned previously in the slides, there's so many opportunities that we get as interns. Every week we have seminars regarding things like executive presence, interview tips, resume tips. We get some guest speakers, a lot of networking opportunities. My personal favorite would have to be our intern coffee chats that we do weekly. This is an opportunity to meet other interns and just network with them, find out about what they like. And I still have friends from my last internship that aren't here anymore, but we still keep up through coffee chats when we first met. We also get opportunities to network with alumni or maybe someone in our desired position, which is a great thing because obviously exploring different departments of AHA, you find stuff that may seem interesting to you, but you're not sure yet. So the ability to go speak with someone in that role definitely helps out a lot. Like you said, we have Heart U where you can do anything from learning Excel to mental health. There's so many opportunities for you to meet new people and just grow your presence in an executive form, and it's awesome. Yeah.
Marion or Evelyn, is there anything you'd like to add? Hunter covered a lot there. Was there anything else that stood out to you?
Yeah, I want to reemphasize the professional development programs because as someone who didn't get that experience in undergrad, I really value learning how to network, learning how to interview, learning your executive presence, personal branding, and I really valued that experience as someone who didn't get that. And I really appreciated the alumni networking, seeing people from your school and comparing experiences across decades was such an invaluable experience. So I really appreciated that aspect of professional development.
I definitely agree with what's been said. You guys covered everything. I think I'd also like to highlight how great both you and Heather are. I've come to you both with questions all the time about everything, about positions within the AHA, about what I should do career-wise before meeting with an executive, or just to let you know how my current internship's going. So I think the guidance that we get from you two within the internship program has also been incredibly valuable.
Awesome. Evelyn, we'll stick with you here for a minute. What's been the most rewarding part of your time at AHA so far?
For me, it's been as cheesy as it is the work. I love the work we do, and I love how hands-on it's been. I never expected, as an intern, I'm still in my senior year of college, so as somebody who hasn't even graduated yet, to be able to attend big events and to conduct research, and make presentations that are getting sent up to the C-suite level executives. It feels very meaningful, and it feels good to know that I'm doing such important work and to also be valued, and that people are very nice and great and gracious and grateful about what we're doing. No one's ever just kind of ignoring your work. It's always highlighted and everyone's always cheering you on.
Awesome. Marion or Hunter, do you want to chime in?
Yeah, I agree with Evelyn completely. Like my biggest, the most rewarding part I'd say was seeing my work actually be a genuine contribution to my team and being used throughout months and months and getting sent throughout the departments. And it's fulfilling to see work that you work hard on actually being used and not just thrown under the rug. And so that's something that's definitely been rewarding and fulfilling for me.
No, for sure. Going off what Hunter and Evelyn have said, basically, we're seeing how the organization works as a whole because the AHA is so big. So seeing how my research goes to the fundraisers who go to connect donors, who fund our initiatives, and seeing how all that work comes full circle has been so rewarding for me personally as well.
So, and we touched on this theme a little bit, I think, in just what Hunter said about people caring about your work, right? And that everybody kind of feels seen and feels valued. And I'd love if, just kind of describe the culture, right? Is there anything you'd like to add around describing the culture at the Heart Association and how it's impacted your internship experience and maybe how you thought about a type of company you want to work at in the future? Anybody?
Yeah, I'll go ahead because I've actually been big on this throughout my whole internship, even last year or last summer. I would talk to my managers and just remind them how comfortable they make you feel, how nice. Just the environment of the office as a whole is something I haven't experienced in my past jobs. I've done a previous internship and obviously worked at other companies, and just the way people speak to you to make you feel is so much different here. They really are big on comfortability, making sure everyone feels safe and included, and it really just takes a lot of the stress off day-to-day work when you have a community around you that all has the same goal, and they show that day in and day out.
Thanks, Hunter.
Yeah.
Marion, Evelyn?
I can go. Yeah, so the company culture is so encouraging and supportive, but it's also very hardworking. And I really feel that speaks to how they're able to create a healthy work environment while still being mission driven. And this definitely translates into my own experience with my team. Everyone has been so eager to teach me new research tools, let me sit in strategy meetings. So that's definitely validated my work as an intern.
Yeah, I definitely agree. Across the different teams I've been a part of, it's been the same everywhere. And so it wasn't just a fluke of getting one lucky team, it's everyone you meet. And the networking thing we had set up where we got to meet with the C-suite level executives. My executive was so kind, so down to earth. You would have never guessed that they've been doing this for over 30 years. So yeah, that culture of being safe, being seen, and being valued is really, really big here. And it's been great to be a part of it.
Awesome. I'd love if one of you could share, so I want to be mindful of our time. If one of you could share a challenge that you faced in your internship and maybe how you overcame that. Somebody want to take that on?
I'll go ahead. Going into the internship, I felt very overwhelmed, learning all about their different departments and products, and just there was so much information for me to take in, and it felt like definitely overwhelming where I seemed behind in my own head. I'm always so hard on myself, like you don't really know what you're doing, things of that nature. So I feel like the best way to combat that is just don't be afraid to ask questions, even if it may be a silly or stupid question. I feel like that's really the best way to make sure what you're doing is correct and make sure that you understand what the goal is of the company. But yeah, that was definitely a big challenge for me going in because I did feel very overwhelmed. And as I expanded, started asking questions and really putting myself out there, I feel like that takes that away a lot.
Awesome. Love that. Marion, how do you feel like this internship has influenced your future career plans?
Great question. So my background is in social science research, and I kind of perceive prospect research as an extension of that, as you are analyzing human behavior to interpret a philanthropic connection, basically. And this has been valuable as I pursue graduate studies and other opportunities with nonprofits. I recently had the experience of being in community with 60 plus nonprofit executives in the LA area, many of whom were seeking prospect researchers for their own organization. So the skills you learn here are definitely transferable through graduate studies or higher education and also within the workforce. So that was definitely the big thing for me, just having that concrete experience through the research projects networking that shows on your resume.
Wonderful. And to kind of close us out, Evelyn, what advice would you give someone starting an internship at the American Heart Association?
My advice would definitely be to fully put yourself out there. I know it's really hard, and I too struggle with imposter syndrome and thinking, what am I doing here? There's so many people who are more qualified. You have MPHs, PhDs. I don't have my degree yet. Just throw that out the window. You're great. And then letting people get to know you, getting to know who you are, why you are the way you are, and what your passions are that drives you. I think when you do that and when you're very genuine and open, people will accept you and you'll be able to learn a lot.
Excellent. Hunter, what about you? Anything you could add about, advice for someone starting?
Yeah, and it's as cliche as it sounds, it really is just be yourself. As we talked about, I mean, they're all inclusive and make you feel so comfortable here. So I don't think anyone should be worrying about how they are as a person affecting their work life. I would say, like I said, ask questions, take as many opportunities that you and Heather provide us as you can, because there is a lot, I'll tell you. Networking is a great thing, so many opportunities for that. And I mean, it is what you make it. So if you put in the work, you'll get it out of it.
I love that. That's right. You get out of it what you put into it. That's right.
Exactly.
Marion, what about you? What's your parting advice for everybody?
I would say the first piece of advice is to be curious and let that curiosity be known. If you want to pursue a new project, let that be known. If you want to know why people do what they're doing in your department, let that be known. I feel like that earnestness and enthusiasm goes a really long way, especially here, and people want to support your journey. So definitely like making your curiosity, putting yourself, like Hunter said, putting yourself out there and getting those opportunities. And secondly, I would say have an open dialogue with your manager from the beginning what you want out the program. If you want to pursue a full-time opportunity down the line, let that be known as early as the interviews, so they can start advocating for you in spaces you're not yet in. So that'd be my two biggest advice: curiosity and starting that open dialogue about your expectations.
I love that. All right. Well, thank you all so much for your time today, for sharing your insights. I know everybody got a lot out of it. So thank you. And again, congratulations on your successful internships. We certainly enjoy you all being here. So thanks so much. All right. I'm going to go ahead and turn it over now to Lisa to introduce and speak to you about our HeartCore program. Hi, Lisa.
Hi, Kathy. Thank you so much for having us today. I'm happy to discuss with you our HeartCore program. And with me, I have Catherine Halverson, who is our HeartCore HR director, with us as well. And so I'm ready to get started, talk to you a little bit about HeartCore. So, what HeartCore is, it is a public health initiative that we started with AmeriCorps. And with their funding, we started the HeartCore program. And the HeartCore program is designed to drive health equity in rural communities. And so we're targeting communities that typically have less than 50,000 people in them. And what our HeartCore service members do is they serve at local health centers, health departments, community organizations, other nonprofits to be able to put forth those and educate around our focus areas of the HeartCore program. And those focus areas are blood pressure self-monitoring and tracking. So helping people, educating them in the community on how to best monitor and track their blood pressure. So that could be anything from how to use the blood pressure cuff to what's the proper positioning, or what do those numbers even mean when you get your blood pressure read. So educating folks so that they can understand and regulate their own blood pressure. Also with that is we address nutrition. So we know nutrition is directly tied to blood pressure. So helping people in those rural communities partner with local food banks, local food pantries, local farmers to be able to have access to healthy food choices. Then our next is around tobacco smoking cessation. So unfortunately, we've got a lot of young people that are smoking and vaping these days. And so providing education and resources around the prevention of and quitting of smoking and vaping. And then we also address other chronic disease and health outcomes like diabetes. We also provide education around rapid response. And so providing our service members with providing our service members with CPR hands-only training. So as I mentioned, what our HeartCore members do, they serve at those host sites. And again, they educate around blood pressure self-monitoring and tracking initiatives. And each one of our sites are different. We have HeartCore members in clinics. We have some at the Boys and Girls Club. And typically how they're going to assess their challenges within their community. So some may focus more on blood pressure monitoring, and some food banks may focus more on nutrition security. As I mentioned, we give our HeartCore members an opportunity to learn hands-only CPR, and then we also give them an opportunity to be certified in CPR. Our HeartCore members, their role is to plan and deliver health skill building workshops in the community, again, to raise awareness. So our HeartCore dates typically run every quarter. So we are rounding out a November 4th cohort that we're starting. We had a cohort start in September, which took us into our third program year. So this is the third year we're going into having the HeartCore program. And so we have completed recruitment for our November cohort. However, we will start recruiting for our February cohort sometime in November. We will have our positions posted sometime between November and December of 2024, and you can go directly to our HeartCore website to read more about the HeartCore role, but then also apply to those locations where we are currently looking for service members. We'll also have a cohort start in the summer, and the summer is a great opportunity, especially for our students, to be able to come in and get some of that practical public health community outreach experience. So typically our summer cohorts just are for a couple of months over the summer. So it's typically sometime from May until August, but there's a lot of information and a lot of impact that our students make during those summer cohorts. And then you'll be able to find those locations that we have posted for the summer. You'll find them on our website sometime in February of 2025. So, with our HeartCore program, in this sense, you would be considered a paid volunteer. So you're not an employee of American Heart Association. You're not an employee of your host site. So we don't talk about pay in a sense or paid checks. What we provide is living allowance or a stipend to help offset the cost for you to be able to serve with the program. And for our full-time cohorts that are serving 41 hours per week, we offer a living allowance of $1,108.70. And then we also do have part-time options that typically run on 25 hours per week. And that living allowance is about $554. And it's just half of the full-time cut in half. Now, the great thing about our program is we do offer an education award after the completion of the program. And that education award can be used towards student loans. It could be used towards tuition. We can even be creative in sending part of it to tuition, part of it towards your student loans. And it's paid out again at the end of service, and it's paid directly to your institution. So you just want to let us know where you want those funds to go, and we'll issue your education award there. And then we also offer a health insurance benefit. So while you're serving, HeartCore will provide 100% of your healthcare benefit should you choose. So that includes medical, dental, and vision, and that's during the life of your service period. We also offer hands-on training. So a lot of the folks that come through our program don't have any medical or clinical in their background, and that's okay, because before we put you out into the community, we're going to provide you a lot of information around American Heart Association, the HeartCore program. How do we get our funding from AmeriCorps? And then we'll also educate you again on the importance of blood pressure, self-monitoring and tracking. You'll learn about security, nutrition security. You'll also get some training on hands-only CPR. And also you'll learn how to be able to go into your community and assess it to see what type of challenges there are that then you can come up with ideas to be able to make an impact. And then also with the training, it gives you an opportunity to go through the program with other folks that are going through the program as well, and sharing of ideas of different folks from different communities. You may find that what's going on and challenge in your community could be a community challenge that's going on across the country. So a lot of sharing of ideas. We also provide you with an alumni network. So, partnering and being able to touch base with former service members to be able to get information and ideas and connect with them. And really, all of this is about being out into the community and making an impact in your community around their health. And then, of course, you can find more on our page at HeartCore at heart.org. So the HeartCore states, so when we originally started the program, I believe we were in half the states in the United States. The wonderful thing is going into our third program year, we're in now 47 states across the country. So as we're growing the program, we're growing into several states. We're hoping to still break into some of those states that we're no longer in. But yes, we have HeartCore members in Alaska, and we have HeartCore members in Hawaii. I keep asking them to send me to Hawaii. Nobody wants to send me to Hawaii to work, but yes, we do have those opportunities across the country, and you'll see those posted on our website. What I have here is one of our service members, Gabby Rosman. And Gabby is going to tell you just a little bit. It's just a short clip, tell you a little bit about her time as a service member, and then talk about how that service member role kind of springboarded her into her AHA role. So if you'd like to play the...
Hi everyone, my name is Gabby Rosman, and I'm a current HeartCore member serving in Northeast Ohio, specifically Portage County, Ohio, with the Portage County Health District and University Hospital's Portage Medical Center. I started serving in February of 2024, and by far my favorite thing about serving is the people that I get to work with, both out in the community and the hardcore team themselves. Everyone is fantastic, and everyone is always promoting us to be the best version of ourselves. Another very exciting thing is that this opportunity actually presented me with the chance to become the newest Community Impact Director for Northeast Ohio. So once my hardcore term ends, I'll be moving into that role and become the Community Impact Director and get to make a difference within not just Portage County, but several of the surrounding counties as well. Hi, everyone.
Thank you. And so that's just a great example of, again, how our HeartCore program can springboard you into other opportunities. Now, of course, we can't guarantee that everybody will move into a community impact role like Gabby, but definitely what we can do if you successfully go through the program and complete the program. If there are some American Heart Association jobs that you are qualified for, we can definitely make some ways for you to get in front of the hiring team. We've also had other service members do additional service terms. So you are able to complete a service term and go through up to 3 service terms with the HeartCore program. And then finally, we do have some HeartCore members that get picked up by their host site. They enjoyed the working relationship with them so much that they offered them positions on their team. So there's definitely additional growth opportunities after the HeartCore program. Thank you, Kathy.
Thanks, Lisa. Heather, I'm going to turn it over to you to talk about tips and tricks from recruiters.
Thank you, Kathy. So one of the questions we get asked all the time is how can I improve my chance of having my resume reviewed? So what I say is read through the job description very carefully and then redo your resume to match some of those jobs responsibilities. So for example, maybe you've won some awards, but they weren't actually related to the job you're hoping to get. Maybe we won't put that on the resume, but we will put some skills that we've acquired when we look at the responsibilities of the job that we're interested in. And another question that we get asked is how can we move forward in that video interview stage, or how do we move forward in the interview stage? And one of the things that we ask you is why do you want this position? And I would say take the time to really think about why you want this position, why you're the best person for the position, and base it again on those job responsibilities and your interest in that position itself. And that is really what we're looking for. We know that you guys have great skills, and so we just want to know really what does this mean to you and how can you really help out in this area. So let's also now talk about the application process. I mentioned the interview stage. Let's find out what that is. So we have a 4-step process for our internship application. And the first step obviously would be definitely to go to our website, heart.jobs/interns, to see the available positions. As Kathy mentioned earlier, we do have several positions posted, and we will be sharing more soon. Maybe you've seen an internship on Indeed or LinkedIn. Just please note you can't apply directly to the position by doing it through LinkedIn or Indeed. You do have to go to our website. So the next step is the video interview. So we will be reviewing all of the resumes that come in for the positions. And for those qualified candidates who receive an invitation, they will receive an email invitation for a one-way video interview. And excuse me, sorry, the next step would be the phone interview. Candidates who have demonstrated in their interview strong qualifications for the role will advance to a phone interview. And then that 4th step would be to interview with the hiring manager. Now that will be a virtual interview that you'll do with the hiring manager. And the final selection of that the final selection of the intern will be done after all of the interviews are completed. So some of the questions that are asked very frequently is, how long does it take from the time I submit my application to the hiring manager's intern selection? So generally speaking, it's anywhere from 6 to 10 weeks. If you go to our website and you apply today or tomorrow, You're looking at knowing whether or not you're going to have this position by around the end of November. Will I receive updates on the status of my application? Absolutely, you will. We will acknowledge every step of the way where you are in it. We'll give you an idea of that timeline. You're able to reach out to us individually if you're still not sure about the status of your application. So we like to make sure that you're fully informed of this process because it can take several weeks. Can I still apply if I've already graduated? Absolutely, you can apply. You're very welcome. We know that it takes a lot for you to get a full-time position, any of us to get a full-time position. And if you're interested in an internship and you've just recently graduated, please don't hold back. Definitely, we would like to review you for an internship position. Can I apply if I live in another country? So at this time, we are only able to give work to interns who are able to do that within the United States. So that kind of is a tricky answer that I gave. So that means it goes into the next question. Do you provide sponsorships for international students? So if you're from another country, but you're here working in the United States, or you're going to school in the United States, excuse me, and you're able to do that work, if you have sponsorship from your school and you're able to provide us the information that shows that you have sponsorship from that school, we are able to provide an internship for you. But again, we do not provide sponsorship for international students at this time, and we do not allow work to be done outside of the United States at this time. So now I'm going to hand it over to Lisa so she's able to answer some tips and talk about her process.
Sure, thank you. So, along the same vein, so how can I improve my chances of my resume being viewed? So, my first thought was you have to apply first. And so, we have a lot of people that start the application and they don't complete it. And so, then they're wondering why they're not considered because you haven't applied and we didn't know you were interested. So, I would say, really, to have your resume reviewed, you need to apply. Second is we review all applicants for the HeartCore program. So we had a cohort in September and we had about 1,300 resumes that we reviewed. So we will review your resume. However, we will target typically candidates that reside in the rural areas in which we're recruiting from. Because our core program does not support relocation or housing assistance, we are looking for those local candidates. So those are ways to be able to have your resume reviewed. So first of all, applying and to be considered applying for a location in which you reside in. Our process is a little bit different because we don't have video interviewing. So to go from the screening stage to a field supervisor interview stage. So we will review your resume and we will reach out to you if your qualifications fit the needs of our host site. And through that screening stage, we'll talk you through the HeartCore role and learn more about your background. And really what we're looking for is for our HeartCore role is someone that has a passion, someone who can explain and kind of talk us through their volunteer experience, their community outreach experience. And then if they don't have that experience in their background, that's okay. But we just want to be able to really kind of see that passion that you have to be able to go out and serve and interact with the community. So let's talk about our application process with the HeartCore program. So first, you're going to visit our website and you'll see our locations that we have posted. If you look on our website now, you'll see that the locations we have are for our November cohort. And after our November cohort starts, we'll be pulling those positions down. So you'll be able to see our new cohort starting in November in those locations. Second is we'll reach out to you for a phone screen. And so those qualified candidates, they'll receive an email invitation from us to complete a initial phone screen. And during that time, we'll talk you through the HeartCore program, learn a little bit more about your background, and then talk you through the rest of the interview process. The next process is a Zoom interview. And those that meet the qualifications, we will schedule a Zoom interview with the field supervisor. The field supervisor is your American Heart Association supervisor. They're the ones that cultivated the relationship with our host site. And so they hold the next piece in the interview process, and that is a Zoom interview. And then provided that goes well, we'll provide a meet and greet with the host site. Because you'll be going there on a day-to-day basis and getting your direction from them, we want to make sure it's a good fit for you and for them. And so that meet and greet could be done virtually, but initially it could be done virtually. But at the end, we want you to be able to go on site, meet with those teams, see the facility and where you'll be serving. And then final selections will be made after all of our interviews are completed. So let's talk a little bit about some FAQs. So how long does it take for my to submit my application to the screening selection? So typically it's only a few weeks. Our cohorts happen quarterly, and so really there's only a few weeks from when you apply to when we should start reaching out to you. As I mentioned, 1,300 applicants. We can't reach out to everyone, so we will prioritize those that are within those rural communities in which we're looking for them to serve. Will you get updates on your status of your application? You can always reach out to us to get an update on your status application. If you're in the interview process, we will keep you updated through your application process, and you'll know what those next steps are and when they'll happen. Can you apply after you graduated? Certainly. So with the HeartCore program, we say we'll take you from 18 until 99, as long as you have a heart to serve. And so you don't have to be a college graduate. You could be a high school graduate. We have people in varying places in their life and in their career, and this role fits in with what they're looking to do. And so there's really no age limit on when you can apply. Can you apply if you live in another country? So with that, unfortunately, with our AmeriCorps funding, it is U.S. based. So we will not have the HeartCore program outside of the United States. And that segues into sponsorship. So because, again, this AmeriCorps is a federally funded domestic service program that provides the funding, unfortunately, we're not able to provide any support for anyone that requires sponsorships. So all of our HeartCore members must be U.S. citizens, permanent residents of the United States. Thank you, Kathy. Thank you.
For sharing your recruiting tips. Everybody really appreciated them and answered a lot of questions that were in the chat. So grateful to both of you. And that's our program for today. Thank you all for attending. I was reviewing some of the Q&A, and it really looks like, for the most part, everything really was answered. There's some job-specific things in there that you really just need to go kind of read the job description. Again, my tip to you is we will post if something is remote for the internship program. You'll see it listed in different cities, okay? Look at the job title, and it'll say like, development and events internship in Little Rock, Arkansas. That means you need to be in Little Rock, Arkansas if it's in the title of the internship job description. If it says social media remote, that means you can be anywhere, again, within the US. And I want to clarify one thing that Heather said. She said it clearly, but just in case people had a question, living in the US, you can be a US citizen, right? And you go to school in the US, but you're studying abroad. if you are not in the US to be able to do the work during the spring session, then that means you are international, and we, unfortunately, we can't hire you during that time. It's a tax issue. So you need to be within the US when the work happens. So study abroad is something to think about with that. All right, everybody, I think that looks like it answered all the questions. So thank you again. You can get more information on WayUp if you go to our WayUp profile. The jobs for both HeartCore and the internship program are listed there, or you can go to our career page and get more information there. Thank you so much, everybody, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.